Hello, Namaskar and Adab to all my friends from your friend astrologer and guide Irfan, once more with you from your very own channel Astro Assurance. We know that the D9 chart, the Navamsa chart, is one of the most important divisional charts, and it is a chart, the horoscope of higher probabilities, which means that the Lagna chart should in turn combine with the Navamsa and should be able to give us what is strongly manifested for us, what are the greater chances of certain results coming to us, certain chances coming to us, certain probabilities coming to us. And it is also known that in India, in the south of India, many of the astrologers completely depend on the Navamsa chart, the D9 chart. However, there is an anomaly there. The reason is that the Navamsa chart, the ascendant of the Navamsa chart, is not dependent on the Lagna chart ascendant at all. For example, how does the Navamsa ascendant be arrived at? Whatever is the degree of the Lagna chart, not the sign of the Lagna, which means whichever is the ascendant sign of your Lagna chart, that has nothing to do with the ascendant of your Navamsa chart. It has everything to do with the degrees. Say for example that your ascendant in your Navamsa chart, in your D9 chart, is the Taurus Lagna. Now the Taurus Lagna in the D9 chart can be arrived by 9 different situations of the D1 chart, of the Lagna chart. For example, whatever your ascendant may be, if it is between the 3 degrees 20 minutes and 6 degrees 40 minutes in any of these 3 signs, Aries or Leo or Sagittarius. Let me repeat. If your ascendant in the D1 chart is either Aries, Leo or Sagittarius between 3 degrees 20 minutes and 6 degrees 40 minutes, then your ascendant in your Navamsa chart will be Taurus. And to continue, if your ascendant degree is 13 degrees 20 minutes and 16 degrees 40 minutes in either the Taurus, Virgo or the Capricorn sign in the Lagna chart, then too your Lagna in the Navamsa chart will be Taurus. Or if your ascendant in your Lagna chart is either Gemini or Libra or Aquarius and between the 23 degrees 20 minutes and 26 degrees 40 minutes, then too your Lagna in the Navamsa chart will be Taurus, which means that the Navamsa Lagna does not really depend on the Lagna of the D1 chart, but whichever the sign is, depending on these 9 different combinations, you can still have the Taurus ascendant in the Navamsa chart. So does the Lagna chart ascendant become irrelevant? Especially, say for example, if you are a South Indian astrologer and only looking at the Navamsa, which means your Navamsa can be Aries or Leo or Sagittarius in the Lagna chart, just because it is between 3 degrees 20 minutes and 6 degrees 40 minutes, irrespective of whichever the Lagna is out of these 3, you still end up in the Taurus Lagna in the Navamsa chart. Why is the ascendant in the Lagna chart becoming irrelevant? Or is there a greater probability to the manifestation? This is because the South Indian astrologers don't look at only the D9 chart or the Navamsa chart. That is a misconception among some people, assuming that the South Indian astrologers look only at the Navamsa. They do look at the Navamsa because the higher dimension, higher probability of events that can happen can be seen through the Navamsa chart. But they also look at what the Lagna is, what is the ascendant degree of the Lagna chart. But they give greater prominence, greater importance to the Navamsa. However, if you have to look at the higher dimensions of the Navamsa, not only of the opportunities which are coming to you, but also the opportunities missed by you, and what are the higher probabilities, higher dimensions that you can achieve, not just the materialistic one but even the spiritual one, which may even give you a chance at eternal life and a higher manifestation of moksha itself, salvation itself, service, finding the purpose of life, finding where your karma, greatest karma can be manifested in which area it can be denoted. Then you need to look at the Navamsa chart, but you also need to look at the Navamsa chart in lieu with the Kal Purush Kundali, which means you have to combine the Navamsa chart, the D9 chart and the Kal Purush Kundali, and to see them together. Only then you get the greatest manifestations, higher opportunities, greater manifestations, You will also be able to see missed opportunities and the highest and deepest manifestation of your life through the Navamsa using the Kal Purush Kundali. Let us use a practical example, looking at the chart and seeing how this particular native's life turned out to be when you look at the Lagna and the Navamsa alone, and then Lagna in lieu with the Navamsa combined with the Kal Purush Kundali. Now this is the Lagna chart of a gentleman, where you can see his ascendant sign is that of Aquarius, and his Aquarius lord or the Lagna lord and the 12th lord Saturn is in the 7th house and is retrograde and placed with Rahu. His Venus is both the 4th lord as well as the 9th lord and placed with the 12th house. So this can show that he gets educated in a foreign land, because 4th lord has gone into the 12th house, the 9th lord has gone into the 12th house. So his education probably was in a foreign land, and where he also found his Venus, he also found his would-be spouse. Why spouse? Because the 12th lord Saturn is placed in the 7th house and with Rahu. Rahu is also the manifestation of a foreign spouse or unusual spouse or very different spouse from what the society is giving you. So 12th lord Saturn placed with Rahu, and his Venus, the Karaka of his spouse, going into the 12th house. Venus also rules his 4th house, which means he goes for education. 9th lord Venus going into the foreign lands, gets his education, finds his spouse there and gets into a stable life with her, and he gets into a service which may be connected to research or connected to serving, especially in the medical profession. Why? Because his 6th lord is Moon and gone into the sign of Virgo, the 6th sign of the Kal Purush Kundali, and in the 8th house of suddenness, emergencies and so forth. And his 8th lord Mercury has gone into the 2nd house, but in a debilitation sign. But what his Lagna chart is giving in terms of service getting connected to foreign lands, wife getting connected to foreign lands, his service getting connected to emergencies, unstructured environment, in a nourishing, caring environment with Moon and Mercury in mutual aspect, that is not supported by his Navamsa chart. Why? Because in his Navamsa chart, Lagna lord has gone into the 2nd house, which means the person is not going very far away from his country of birth. Similarly, his 4th lord Sun is also placed in the 2nd house with the Lagna lord. This doesn't give him a strong chance of settling abroad. This shows that the person may go abroad, maybe for his education, but comes back. Why? Because his 9th lord Saturn and his 10th lord Saturn is in the 4th house, which means this person can get into a profession which is connected to law and order or justice, because Jupiter and Saturn here, Saturn rules the 10th and the 9th house and placed in the 4th house, and he may be a lawyer or a barrister working out of home, but that's not who he is. And the Lagna and the Navamsa are saying two different stories. Here in the Navamsa, here the 7th lord Mars is placed in the sign of Pisces and Rahu is placed in the 7th house. So this is strongly giving a denotation again of a foreign spouse. And his 3rd lord Moon is getting placed in the 9th house of education. So education connected to some artistic endeavor, because 3rd house, and in again a caring environment, a nourishing environment that he gets his education in. But that's not who he is. He is a civil engineer. So now use the technique which I said that we need to use, converting his Navamsa chart into a Kal Purush Kundali and using that. What does it mean? Now this is his Navamsa chart, which is the Taurus Lagna. So convert that into the Aries Lagna, which means convert his 12th sign, which is Aries, into the Lagna, keeping all the planets in the similar signs as they are in the Navamsa chart. So this becomes his new Navamsa, where the Lagna is converted into the Kal Purush Lagna, which is the Aries sign, and rest of his planets are in the same signs. For example, in his original Navamsa chart, Sun and Venus are in the sign of Gemini. So in this new Navamsa chart, converting it into Kal Purush Kundali, you still have Sun and Venus in the sign of Gemini. Mars is in Pisces here. Similarly, Mars is in Pisces in the new Navamsa also. But now keep the Lagna chart and the new Navamsa side by side and see what it says. Now this is his Lagna chart and this is his new Navamsa converted into the Aries Kundi. Now let's see what manifestation it is giving. Here his spouse, 7th Lord Venus, is in the 3rd house of neighborhood, connected to society, family. Why family? Because social network, Saturn, ruler of the 11th house of society, social network, is getting placed in the 5th house in the sign ruled by Sun, and Sun is getting placed with his 7th Lord Venus, and Moon, the ruler of the 4th house, is aspecting the 4th house, and Venus also rules his 2nd house of family, extended tribe, which means his spouse comes from his social network, connected to his external tribe and in the neighborhood, which means within the city. And that's what happened. This person married somebody from within his tribe, from his own city, from the neighborhood, and the arrangement was made by his father and mother. Why mother? Because Moon rules the 4th house, aspecting the 4th house. Sun rules the 5th house and is placed with Venus, his 7th Lord, in the 3rd house of neighborhood. Now let's see what his profession comes out to be. Saturn rules the 10th house, Jupiter rules the 9th house. They are placed together, which means his career is getting connected to his education, and his career is getting connected to construction and into real estate. Why is that so? Lagna Lord Mars is in the 12th house, which means he will be placed in a foreign land and in an environment which is very unusual, which doesn't keep regular hours, which may not even be indoors, maybe outside. Why? Rahu aspects Mars in the 12th house with its 5th aspect, and Rahu is also placed in Mars other sign. So he goes to foreign lands, stays in foreign lands, gets connected to an industry which is very unusual, construction oriented, because Mars is the Karaka of real estate, and Moon, his 4th Lord, is placed in the 10th house of service, career. Moon is also the Karaka of assets, especially building assets, home. So he makes homes, constructions homes for others in a foreign land, especially with Lagna Lord getting into the Pisces sign in the 12th house, Rahu aspecting Mars, the Lagna Lord, in the 12th house, Mars aspecting Venus in the 3rd house with its 4th aspect. The 3rd house is the house of using your hands and fingers, which is also connected to a draftsman who is also civil engineer, and Venus is the Karaka of houses, homes, and Venus here also rules the 2nd house of income and under the 4th aspect of Mars. And this is all connected to his career of his profession of engineering. Why engineering? Saturn is placed in the sign of Leo, Sun is placed with Venus, the Karaka of home, and Mars aspects Sun and Venus both in the 3rd house. So he is a civil engineer working out of foreign lands, connected to real estate industry, has a spouse closer to home in the neighborhood within his tribe, and is somebody who cannot keep money in the bank for too long. He is a spendthrift person, and this is the story of this person. Few thousand rupees in his bank account, you won't find substantial amount. So friends, that's how you should be able to see the deeper, stronger manifestation of your Navmansh Kundali, using it with the Kal Purush Kundali, just as we saw this person is having his higher definition, the higher meaning of life in a service oriented environment, because Saturn rules his 10th house of career, which means labor. In the real estate industry, you have labor who works on the site in an unusual environment, because you may have to keep unusual environment, working in unusual working hours on the site. It is not indoors, it's outside, there is no office block. And with Mars, which gets into the 12th house, which means a higher spiritual dimension is also getting connected to foreign lands, because it is in the Pisces sign. Your 10th Lord Saturn is also placed with Jupiter, in which sign, on whose sign Mars is placed. So all of this is coming together. It also shows him that he may have had an opportunity of marrying abroad, but that's not what he did. He ended up getting married to somebody from within his society, within his community, within his tribe, in the neighborhood, from his own city. So the Navmansh Kundali, when connected with or converted into Kal Purush Kundali, showing the missed opportunities, but eventually what may happen, and from where will he get the highest dimension, even the spiritual elevation, through what work he does, what karma he does, what trajectory he follows in his career and in his life. And through that, converting the Navmansh Kundali into the Kal Purush Kundali, through that you will be able to see the high manifestation, high opportunities, missed opportunities also You'll also be able to see connected to your dashas. This will be one of the best ways to look at how the dashas made it possible for certain events to happen, for certain situations to arrive, and how you may have used them best. This will also give you in the future dashas, in the future antardasha, in the future transits, what possibilities may be laying out for you. So convert your Navmansh Kundali, especially if you think your birth time is accurate, then convert your Navmansh Kundali, keeping all the planets into the same signs, into the Kal Purush Kundali, and do some deep investigation, do some deep analysis, and you will be able to see for yourself how you will be able to see a deeper manifestation, what opportunities probably you lost out, but also be able to better use the opportunities which lie ahead of you. So friends, like this video, share this video, and if you're looking for a personal consultation from me, please reach out to me at the links given below. Till some other time with some other video, this is your friend astrologer and guide Irfan signing off.